Hello, good evening. You're watching Times Now. I'm Shreya Upadhyaya. Let's talk about what's happening in the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, as Donald Trump faces pressure from political opponents as well as his own MAGA supporters over the controversial Epstein files, the US president shared a video today of Barack Obama getting arrested. Yes. In a 45-second video, Trump intended to send out the message that nobody is above the law, including the President of the United States. It shows Obama being pinned down by the FBI and ending up in a jail suit behind bars. Well, the only solace for Obama supporters being that this video isn't real, it's AI generated. I'm joined by David Sofair. He's a Republican strategist, joining us from US, as well as Raymond Vickery, Senior Associate Center for Strategic and International Studies, as well as former Assistant Secretary of Commerce. He's also joining us from America. Thank you very much to both of you gentlemen for joining us this evening. David, can I begin with you and take your response on what the Democrats are saying? They're questioning the timing of this, the fact that the US presidency at the moment is facing pressure from the Epstein files. In fact, not just the opposition, but Trump's own MAGA supporters have been pressurizing him to release those files and be transparent about that entire controversy. Suddenly, you have Tulsi Gabbard coming out and making these rather sensational claims against a former American president.
Sure. Well, let's just address those claims straight away. I mean, the Steele dossier is a clear fabrication. What happened in that dossier, we know for a fact, did not happen. There wasn't any sort of Russian collusion, etc. This was a ploy, and now it transpires that that's fact that the Democrats hatched in 2016 to undermine Trump. It was one of their nasty tricks in their big bag that they've set against President Trump. Now, you could say that the video is in poor taste of former President Obama being arrested. I could see that point. But what's really in poor taste is the actual manufacturing of a whole narrative about Russia collusion that really wasn't there. So we're peeling back the onion there. We're going to find out. And I think that will happen rather quickly now that we have all this information. Now, you could say that the timing is a bit pernicious, as there has been a lot of controversy about the Epstein files and unsealing that. And I think that will eventually be unsealed. I mean, in my personal opinion, I hope that it does. The idea that Obama is this mythical figure who just couldn't do any wrong is just another wholesale farcical thing. When you look at U.S. media companies getting Pulitzer Prize based on fake news about this Russian thing and Russian collusion, which 100% didn't happen. We know that didn't happen for a fact. There wasn't any good people from the Democrat Party that came out and said, "Hey, guys, this isn't right." So I hope that some people will be held accountable for this very, very bad political play here.
Completely refute the fact that there was no Russian influence.
Well, it's been very well established, not just by the Steele dossier, but by intelligence sources as well as outside examiners that Russia did influence the 2016 elections. They pulled out all the stops they could in hybrid warfare to be able to do that. Now, the Steele dossier is only one small part of the evidence that took place. In a democracy, it is necessary to build peace and prosperity that you have a rule of law. But law can also be used unjustly as a sword, and that is what the Trump stock and trade has been all through his career. You may recall the chants of "lock her up" in regard to Hillary Clinton in 2016. You can go back to Trump's involvement with the Central Park Five, in which 5 innocent people were maligned by Trump and said that they had created a criminal act. So this is nothing new, and President Trump is out to destroy every center of opposition to him, whether it be Harvard University, whether it be PBS, the public broadcasting system, whether it be judges.
Raymond Vickery, the argument that comes from the other side is the fact that, look, these are emails that at the moment the intelligence chief has seen, the department has seen, and they will be passing it on to the Department of Justice. They haven't been made public yet. So how can you be so sure that Barack Obama was not involved in such a thing?
Well, he was involved in it.
I didn't say
I'll come to you,
that,
David. Let Mr. Vickery respond.
I didn't say that we haven't had an examination. An examination is perfectly appropriate, but what is not appropriate is for Tulsi Gabbard, who has fallen out with the president really over her assessment of intelligence about Iran, trying to get back into his good graces by becoming an attack dog on this and referring it to a Department of Justice which has been completely politicized. It is no longer a Department of Justice. It is a personal vendetta department to try to attack enemies. And this, the president has said that is what he's going to do. Now, he's hoisted his own petard in regard to the Epstein situation. And this is obviously just a diversion in order to do it. Sure, you ought to have a dispassionate review of many things that had happened. But in terms of people who ought to go to jail, a person who has sent mobs to attack the Capitol to try to overturn an election, which President Trump did on January 6th, is in a glass house. If it had not been for the fact that he was able to be reelected, he'd be behind bars right now. So this is all a part of this, and we look for help from other democracies, other countries such as India, who adhere to a rule of law, to speak out and help the United States in its time of.
Look, this is an internal matter of America. These are, internal politics that is playing out at the moment. But David, respond to what Mr. Vickery is saying. Also the fact that, there are arguments being made that, look, Tulsi Gabbard messed up during the Israel-Iran conflict. She said something completely contrary to her boss. And that's why now she's trying to make up for what she said that time. Donald Trump has praised her as well after she, made these claims against Barack Obama. And he, in fact, has doubled down on what she has said.
Well, sure. I mean, I just want to back up a bit and say that the Democrats actively tried to persecute President Trump without any merit on fake cases for the past 8 years. And a lot of that has come out as completely falsehoods. So let's be clear on that. So, with Tulsi Gabbard and all of that, she is, if she's in Trump's good graces or bad graces, it's irrelevant. She's doing her job. She is, pointing out things to the American people in the name of democracy and in the name of freedom of speech and information. So the American people really deserve to know what's happening. And that's exactly what's going on now. So,
what a lot of Americans are questioning is perhaps, yes, they do want to know the truth, but why now? Why suddenly amid the Epstein file pressure that Donald Trump is facing. And that, brings me back to the moot question of the timing of these claims that are being made. Clearly, there has now been, a diversion. People are talking about this instead of the actual Epstein files.
Sure. Ultimately, the Epstein files will be all released. So that will happen. So, so they are actively releasing files as well. So that will happen. And Americans have the right to know. So they are declassifying and decoding all this info. In the meantime, we are fighting to restore America to a fantastic place, which it is. If you look at public safety is way up. The economy is doing a lot better. Inflation has come down at a record pace. And these are all great points. Fentanyl deaths are way, way down. Trade is great. By every metric, America is in a very, very strong and secure place.
Okay, let me take this across to Raymond Vickery. Raymond Vickery, do you buy that the Trump administration will transparently put out all the details from the Epstein files as they're claiming to? And do you also believe that from here on, the kind of claims that Tulsi Gabbard has made will actually end up in the arrest of Barack Obama, as this AI-generated video shows?
Well, it's perfectly obvious that President Trump wants to bury the Epstein files. When he was campaigning, he subscribed fully to various conspiracy theories that required release of them. But apparently he's found out that he's implicated in some of these, and so he's going after them. I want to say that what David has said about the United States economy and inflation being under control,
all the numbers are right there as well. So
it's just not true. It's not true. And all one has to do is look at this depraved video, which President Trump has rebroadcast, to see the depths to which he has fallen and the political discourse has. One can only imagine in India, supposing that artificial intelligence had been used to show Prime Minister Modi being hauled away like this, the outcry and the uproar which would take place. This is really beyond the pale. And in President Trump, we see something which has never occurred before in the United States. And that is, instead of defending and protecting the Constitution of the United States, taking an all-out approach to destroy the separation of powers, to destroy the restraints of the rule of law. And I would say that, this is not just something that affects the United States. This kind of approach internationally is going to affect U.S.-India relations. It affects the entire world order. And it's time for great democracies to stand up against this kind of depravity.
We have to wait and watch how this really unfolds and what happens. I'll have to leave it there. David Sofair and Raymond Vickery, thank you very much to both of you gentlemen for joining us this evening on Times Now and decoding for us what really is the Democrat and Republican perspective on this entire controversy.